So for some reason when I think about mac and cheese, I don't really think about it as a real pasta or like a real adult meal. Somehow it's always associated in my mind as like this kid's meal, maybe because I grew up on mac and cheese. Hey, what's up everybody, Jefferson here, and I'm back again for the fourth and last week here at Target reviewing their generic brands. And this week I'm doing their Good & Gather brand mac and cheese versus the Annie's mac and cheese. Alright, so before I taste these things, have you guys had these brands? If so, comment below, let me know what you think, and particularly if you have a favorite flavor, I'd love to hear about that. Now both the Good & Gather and the Annie's are both made from organic pasta. There's no artificial flavoring, preservatives, and they both come from cows that are not treated with RBSTs. Alright, so let's get to it and see how these things taste. Now first up is going to be the Annie's. So first impression of the Annie's. The noodles are pretty good. They're nice and tender. The flavoring leaves something to be desired for. It's a little bland, so they could probably work on improving that. But other than that, it's kind of your classic elbow cheddar mac and cheese. All right, so let's check out the Good & Gather and see how it compares. All right, so just like the Annie's over here, the noodles are pretty soft and tender, but unlike Annie's, the cheddar sauce over here is much better. You can definitely taste it. It's got a little bit more flavoring to it, which I really like, and it's not too salty or anything like that, so plus there for the Good & Gather brand. All right, so between these two here, I'm gonna have to go with the Good & Gather, just because the flavoring is much better on the Good & Gather classic Elbows mac and cheese. All right, so next up here is another classic. It's the shells and cheddar. Now the Annie's over here says it's made with aged cheese. The Good & Gather doesn't say anything about that, so let's see how they taste. All right, so first up, we're gonna check out the Annie's. All right, so the Annie's shells and real aged cheddar is definitely better than their classic mac and cheese version. All right, so the flavoring on the Annie's is definitely much better, and I think it's got to be that aged cheddar that they put in there. And if they put that in their classic mac and cheese, I think they could have a much better product. The noodles are pretty good in here. They're soft and tender, maybe just a little bit harder than the other ones, but that could just be the type of noodle, the shells. The only caveat I would say with Annie's is their sauce packet when you put it in there, the cheese, tends to get a little chunky when you're trying to stir it in, and I've noticed that with a lot of other Annie's. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That might be something for them to work on. All right, so let's check out the Good & Gather and see how it tastes. All right, so the noodles are pretty good. They're soft and tender like they should be. The sauce is a little thicker, a little creamier. I noticed that when I was cooking it. I'm like, oh, this is probably gonna be pretty good. But when I tasted it just now, I'm like, no. There's not much of a taste there, and I'm really kind of disappointed in that. Between these two, I'm going to have to go with the Annie's. The Annie's just has a much better flavor. The Good & Gather is really bland. You can't taste the cheddar at all, so Annie's for the win. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me here in another review, and I hope this is going to help you make some smart decisions next time you go to the store. You guys subscribe below, comment, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and I will respond to all your comments. And also just a little announcement here, I am going to be going to every 2 weeks starting in February, and I will be at a new store in February, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you back here.